The book of Matthew, chapter 24. I'm going to begin at verse. I'm going to begin at verse 3. And it reads, I'm going to begin at verse 1, Matthew chapter 24 and verse 1. And Yahushua, who you people ignorantly call Jesus, and Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, whose true name is Yahushua in the Hebrew. And his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. Verse 2, and Yahushua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down. Verse 3, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. Verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, which you're seeing, and kingdom against kingdom, which you're seeing. And there shall be famines, which you're seeing, and pestilences, which you're seeing, and earthquakes, which you're seeing, which are being manifest, which that are happening in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Skipping to verse 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba Hashem, Racha, Kodash Barakatham. I say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, not more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwath, who listen and learn, Lord, willingly. This is an edifying lesson. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad, who live in the land of the other nations, and which appear like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. This is the brother Yahweh Sap out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, and I'm coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh Shem Shai. So, basically, I wanted to look up that word "world" because, I was gonna say age, but I didn't know what the word was being used, and the word is AI. And that's a Greek word, G104, and it means an age, a period of time, a rulership. It's not the whole inhabitable world, because I believe the word "world" is in the scriptures a few different times, but it's different meanings with each word. That's why it's so important to go into words, and that's why our elders and the different brothers is so on point with the knowledge, because they know the word, they know the meaning of these words. But not to digress. So I wrote out that Matthew 24 because of the fact, this was a prophecy, is red letter. And when you see red letters, if you're familiar with it, the red letter Bible is the words of our Messiah, who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ, but we know true name in the Hebrew through faith is Yahushua HaMashiach. So, and basically he was prophesying what would be happening at the end of the age, or at the end of basically when this Edomite, who you people ignorantly call the so-called white man, will be losing his kingdom, because the whole inhabiting world won't be destroyed or taken away, but age or eon, basically it's a period of time where the Lord set up different rulerships. You see that throughout the scriptures. When you go in the book of Daniel, when you got the statue, Neo Babylonians, the Persians and the Medes, the Greeks, and then the Romans, and then you have this revised Roman Empire, which is NATO, the EU, and Babylon the Great, aka America, who is the whore that sitteth upon the beast, you know, if you can receive it. So the Lord said it was going to be in the last days before this rulership was over with, it's going to be an increase in violence. And that's why in Matthew chapter 24, verse 12, it says, and because iniquity shall abound, meaning sin upon sin shall increase. Abound meaning grow. Let's see what it really means, abound. I'm assuming that's what the word abound means. Increase, to multiply. So being that it's going to multiply, the love of many shall wax cold. So people are going to be more cold-hearted to one another, to their neighbor. When you go in the scriptures, the word neighbor typically tends to mean brother, you know, because usually you stay amongst your people, you know. Only in America is a melting pot. Well, not just America, because ancient Rome was like that as well, and that's why we believe through the Spirit. Well, not just believe, we know through the Spirit that this place is ancient Rome all over again. There's too many similarities. You know, I got a book called Are We Rome? You know, and it goes into the different similarities between America and ancient Rome. Maybe one day I used to have a series where I just read out a book. You know, maybe I'll go into that book. It's kind of a tough read though. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie. I started it, stopped it, started it. You know, it's not catching my attention like that. But it's information in there. You know. But so lucky for the digression. So I was listening to the guy Full Spectrum Revival, and he brought this out. And you know, we had a sit down yesterday, and the young brother Yaquan was going into you know, you got all these places being flooded. Now I was listening to the brothers from L.A. They were speaking on that. You know, they're talking about you know, California or the West Coast gonna get a major, you know, possibly flooding over there. How you been getting this flooding in Kentucky, Las Vegas, all these different areas. You know, and you know, these things ain't even being reported on the news. Well, this is not being reported either. So this is, I don't even know, Valala RTA Daily, and it reads, more terror in Mexico. Cartels in Baja California set fire to vehicles and buses. This is dated August 13th, and it reads, one day after the violent day, and I won't be able to pronounce that, Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, and in the same week that similar events were reported in Jalisco, Guanajuato. The violence hit the state of Baja California and various regions of municipalities of Tecate, Rosarita, Ensenada, Tijuana, and Mexicali. Through the social networks, various users release images and videos where vehicles can be seen being consumed by the flames. The modus operandi of those alleged responsible for the act was similar to that used in Ciudad Juarez, since armed and hooded men forced passengers to get out of a public transport vehicle in order to set them on fire. Damn. So they made them get off of a public bus and then set them on fire. Unofficial reports indicate that around 6:15 p.m. this Friday, August 12th, a group of hooded men intercepted a public transport bus when it was found on Calzada Independencia in front of Clinic 28 of IMSS. After intimidating the driver and passengers with firearms, they set fire to the interior. The most affected municipality was Tijuana, as various vehicles were set on fire. The Colonia Francisca Villa Bridge, as well as the downtown area, the El Chaparrilla Bridge, among others. According to information from the report, Inez Garcia from Punta Norte in the Millennial newspaper is estimated that at least 12 public transport units were set on fire in Tijuana, and there were clashes in all municipal delegations. So basically, you know, you got the cartels, I guess, going at war and making statements and making it be known. And that's an example of iniquity abounding. You know, right now you got transgression of the law happening at an all-time rate. And, you know, it said again the scripture read, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So people are going to get, colder to one another, especially when you got, everything being affected with the price of food, the inflation. You know, you know, it's a lot of spiritual activity going on, and that's why it's so important to pray for the protection of Yahweh Shemel Shah, because taking things for granted, and walking, you literally got to throw up a prayer before you walk out the house. I was listening to the elder apostle Racha say that. You know what I mean? It's very important to stay in prayer, but it's very important to pray before you leave the house, because you got to remember we're walking in the valley of the shadow of death. Any day we walk out this house, especially being Jakes, we can we can be judged. So far, there is no knowledge of fatalities or injuries in Sarita and Sanita, Tijuana, and Tecate, although Garcia pointed out that there are reports of injuries in the municipality of Mexicali. Minutes after 10 p.m., Governor Marina del Pilar issued a brief message on her social networks. I condemn the violent events that occurred this afternoon in our state. At this moment, I'm meeting with the security board. There are already detainees responsible for the events that occurred. It is important to remain calm. We will keep you informed, she wrote. Almost simultaneously, the state of Guanajuato again reported drug blockades and the limit of Celaya and Juvenito Rosas in response to the operations that the state police implemented in the entity. It is the second time in a week that an event of the same nature has been recorded in Guanajuato, although the wave of violence has also been present in Jalisco and Chihuahua. I probably butchered a lot of that. And then this, now that's Issachar. Said 25 National Guardsmen in Mexico kidnapped for ransom to release captured game. Look at this shit. Now, like I said, I might have to subscribe to this. They said that, a cartel kidnapped the National Guard. I mean, if that ain't making statements, the Lord is really, and that made me think of a scripture, because it talks about the book of Second Ezra. No, I don't want Second Ezra. Second Ezra chapter 5. It's in Second Ezra chapter 5. It talks about incontinency, the incontinency. So this is Second Ezra chapter 5. The point is verse 10, but I'm gonna start at verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be off sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places. You're seeing that because of the fact I did a video. They talked about they found the cat. I think it's called a serval cat. Now somebody was keeping it. I'm on the east side. Somebody was keeping it on the west side of the city of Cleveland, and basically it escaped. And they found it like in downtown Steelyard area. So that's like maybe 10 minutes away, because where I stay at, I'm close to the highways, so I can get to the highway. It's easily accessible to me, and so maybe it'd been like maybe 10 minutes away, if that. And the thing is, I was going into how the wild beasts can change their places, this scripture, because like I said, that's actually exotic or considered a wild animal, and it was actually found in an area with human beings, and it was well fed, they said, because it's going to hunt, and you're going to see more and more of this. You got coyotes. We live in Ohio. Ohio, what people don't know, I think Ohio is a Native American word. I know, or a Northern Kingdom word. I'm going to say not Native American. That's what them Edomites try to deem them. It's an Edomite word. I mean, Salakia. It's a Northern Kingdom word, as well as Cuyahoga is a Northern Kingdom word. You got to understand Northern Kingdom was in this area prior to Esau Edom. So it's all kind of animals here. We got bears. They had a video of a bear, or a picture of a bear, just recently. I took a picture of it. I forgot, and it was in one of the hoods in Ohio. So if you seeing bears, I seen a coyote when I was homeless years ago. You know, so I remember the brother did the video and talking about the reports of you had mountain lions in California running in packs. Mountain lions don't run in packs. So scriptures talk about the Lord is going to do a new thing on the earth. You know, now he was talking about when a woman shall come past a man, meaning have more authority than a man, and we seeing that now. You know, you heard who the governor was. They said the lady. I believe they said the mayor or the governor. It was a woman that made the statement condemning the violence. But the Lord is got them in the trick bag because it's gonna get to the point where people are not gonna be really giving a fuck about their jobs. They show you that in certain movies. When all hell break loose, you really think a person gonna be trying to hold society together because they once was a police officer? When you go really into the underbelly of this society, you'll find out the politicians and the law enforcement are some of the most corrupt motherfuckers. Period. You know what I mean? Cops I knew that was actually, you know what I mean? I grew up around niggas in the street. One of the cops was fucking one of the bras that grew up around us. You know what I mean? And like I said, we knew certain little shit. You know what I mean? I remember one of the guys I grew up around. He said, you know, they had him cornered. He said he gonna run towards him. So or was it? I think he said after the fact, he was like, I wish he would have ran my way because I'd act like I failed or something like that. You know what I mean? Like all this, you when you really get to the underbelly of this system, you'll find out a lot of these gang members, the higher echelon gang members, they all affiliated. They motherfucking masons and shit like that. You know, like when you go into Nick Cannon and his father. His father was in the street, then supposedly turned his life around. But you don't think that his father is, you know, connected and juiced in? It's very, very hard to get anything in this society without selling your soul. And if you do make it through the cracks, through the grace and power of Y'all Bashim Y'all Shah, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, they either gonna make you buy that. The perfect example of that is with the Pimp C situation. Pimp C, when he got out, he was trying to organize the South to, you know, and then when they tried to open up that world to him, he seen it for what it was, and I think that's part of the reason why he ended up dying. And then that's part of the reason why Bun B now this, you know, this nigga got Trill Burgers, and he's still saying the word Trill, but Trill Burgers, and he's supposed to be a professor at I forgot what school, teaching something called hip hop. Like just show you how these motherfuckers are sold out so much. They got classes for these Edomites colleges where they teach hip hop. You know what the fuck? But I mean, if you don't recall that, like, well, I mean, Pimp C was basically exposing, you know, he called them homo thugs and shit like that. And shortly after that, he died. You know, he's supposed to died in his, you know, from an overdose. Yeah. So it reads verse 8: There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be sent out, and the fire shall be off sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and minstrels women shall bring forth monsters, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into its secret chamber. There's the point, verse 10. And shall be sought of many, because it, you know, it's like how the Lord is going to make the tongues of the prophet's mouth cleave to um, the roof of their mouth. You know, they ain't gonna be able to speak in that day because that's when the Lord gonna cut off that grace. So people gonna be trying to seek for answers and they ain't gonna be able to get them. And shall be sought of many and yet be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon the earth. And when you go into that word incontinency, it basically means lawlessness. And if you can't see the lawlessness and the acts that these people was doing, they literally is burnt. I mean, like they out of control. You know, so therefore, what's going to eventually probably happen? It's gonna get a state of where you know you're gonna have a lot of that, and that's where all Jacob's trouble gonna come in and all that. When shit gets so bad, what do you think about to happen? These gang members, these cities with more gangs than cops. What do you think is gonna happen? Why do you think like places like Chicago and New York, you had the police, you know, retire at a. Why do you think these cities is seeking police officers so aggressively? Cleveland, one of the cities that's seeking police officers. Yeah, and you don't have another shutdown. I mean, they don't. This place doesn't have a. You know, it's kind of gangster how the Most High did it. because this bitch is barely standing right now. You know, they trying to pass another act. What is it, the Debt Reduction Act, to show you how comical that is. In order to call yourself starving off inflation, no, it's not called the debt. It's the inflation. Yeah, debt inflation. It's some kind of inflation act. But the point is, they try to call themselves passing a stimulus to slow down the inflation. So they what's the word? Their mindset in order to check inflation is to to print more money. Which, that's how you know the bitch over with. Uh, Scriptures talk about you know when the Lord judged the world the first time, the first death, and the second death. Because the scriptures talk about there's no new thing under the sun. You know, well, it was violence in the earth right prior to the first judgment. This is Genesis chapter 6, and we'll start at verse 11. The earth also was corrupt before Yahweh, and the earth was filled with violence. So this is the time of Noah and his three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And that was one of the reasons why the Most High judged the place, because of the things that are going on right now. Is nothing new. This book of Ecclesiastes talks about there's no new thing under the sun. So, it may be done in a different fashion. At that time, people didn't all have instant access to, information. But to a degree, they did. Like the elders going to, well, the priesthood did. The and the Therm, Urim and the Therm, Salakia. When you go into that, just like it was certain knowledge that the ancients had that, we don't possess. I mean, if you really want to go into the truth of the matter, most people nowadays are a lot more dumbed down than they were back then. You know, you got to understand when a person was learned, they strictly focused on learning. They didn't have to do 20,000 things and still try to learn. That's how fucked up this society is. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to bust your ass, because that's how you know you really on a prison planet. Your whole life consists of working and paying taxes. That's a slave. Verse 12, and people want to hold on to it. And then the craziest part, when you actually have the eye salve to understand and see what we're saying, well, this new system they're trying to put in place, not only will you be taxed, but you'll be monitored too. So you can't just go about doing whatever you want. Like, you can't go about doing whatever you want now. I mean, I'm considered a felon. I can't just go up and leave and go to Germany. I gotta get a passport. You know what I'm saying? And if they don't issue me one, I'm not going. So, well, imagine that on a scale with this MOTB. You know what I mean? Like, they gonna be able to monitor wherever you are. Verse 12, and Yahweh looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. You make you wonder if that's going into that mark, because, once it's already been made known, shit, it's been made known about that jump shot. I've read articles where they said that basically it messed with your genome, because of the way that they created the vaccine. It's a different the way that they created this vaccine basically changed the way that they develop and administer vaccines, because it's mRNA based. It's dealing with like like your DNA, your genome. And that's why it was a video on Odyssey, or I can't remember. I think it was Odyssey, where it was a military lawyer, and he was basically helping the soldiers try to get exemptions from taking that, because basically he said, based on all those that took that, they're no longer considered human. Verse 13. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. So, it was a very chaotic and violent time prior to judgment, which was the flood, and it's going to be like that this time because there's no new thing under the sun. Uh, there's something I wanted in Ecclesiastes, but this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. So what is that place of judgment? The earth. Under the sun? What planet sits under the sun? The earth, right. you know, that wickedness was there and the place of righteousness. And, that's the balance of everything because you got, the planet is overwhelmed with wickedness, but you have righteousness there as well because you have the elder apostles and the Akim coming back to the knowledge of our Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It says, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So in a you got righteousness and wickedness, and you got again iniquity abounding. Verse 16, and moreover, Salakia, in verse 17, I said in my heart, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there's a time there for every purpose and for every work. So, the scriptures in the book of Ecclesiastes, when you read up, it talks about time and a season for all things, a time for peace and a time for war. And right now, we going into time of war. It's time to laugh. Now, scriptures talk about it's better to be in the house of mourning than the house of mirth. I was just listening to an elder from L.A., Mawatazar. He was talking about how, summer ended. You got people that got really low to sleep because they can move around in summertime. The elites probably wanted to make their last little cash cow, you know what I mean? And let everything be opened everything up. People was wasting money and doing all this old nigga shit because it's the summertime. But now we going into fall. And the dark winter is coming. It's the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3. So this is the main reason why iniquity shall abound. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection. Talks about again, what it say? How did it say it in Matthew 24? Iniquity of Shabal, so love of many shall wax cold. Then it also, what's that second Ezra's? It's about it shall have no pity on our neighbor. Because of the lack of bread, they shall be spoiling and being spoiled, roughly paraphrased. Back in the 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 3, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And that's the point. A man is going to be vain and in love with himself. People idolize and worship everything but the Creator. And the scriptures talk about how is the Creator, how the creation going to say to the Creator, you made me wrong. People worship themselves. You know what I mean? People worship people like LeBron James and shit. You had people worship Don King. You had a whole tribe in Africa worshiping Don King. Facts. You got people worshiping Trump right now. And that's what's really gonna get this this civil war started, because you got these people with this whole, what's that called? This psyop with Donald Trump, you know what I mean? And oh yeah, them raiding this mansion and whatnot. Because you gotta take the time to think about this. They allegedly saying he had these things, but Hillary Clinton literally was supposed to have like a secret email that she deleted and all that shit. Remember all that? Forget about all that. So why was she given the pass and They making a big spectacle about Donald Trump. You got to understand, Donald Trump was mentioned in the Epstein files, right? A lot of individuals was. Will Smith as well. Maybe him and Epstein, how did that, maybe it's a whole situation. I don't know, but nonetheless, you know, with what's going on with this whole Donald Trump thing, these people look at these Edomites, but not just these people. And these Edomites, you have 50 Cent up there. I just was reading that yesterday. 50 Cent was up there talking about he voting for Trump and all this shit. Where that little chick that he used to deal with, Chelsea Handler, he used to date her. And she was up there mad at him because he wanted to vote for Trump. All this is in the news. So you got more than just, Edomites worshiping. You got a lot of, during that whole little campaign, you had a lot of niggas that was up there for Donald Trump. You know what I mean? With not understanding he a puppet. He's being utilized right now. You know what I mean? Like he's part of the reason why the fucking economy all fucked up. Why they want to just blame everything at Biden. He signed all that, stimulus packages and all that. You forget about that? So at the end of the day, you're gonna see more violence because of the fact we are living in scriptures. It talks about the last days that we shall be perilous times. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Central Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, and you seeking protection for these perilous times that we're living in and to come, I suggest that you come back to your Heavenly Father, who in the Hebrew is called, whose true name is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Because at the end of the day, the only person that can protect you from the coming calamities is the one that's sending them. So with that, if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Central Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of your power, who true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to called Loyam, Yahweh. And with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to called Loyam, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem. Double honors to my apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, teaching do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim, across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwat and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land and other nations appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. My wife like a ball. Shalom.